Vision, ability, and the desire to make a difference. They are all qualities that make Dan Ulmer one of this community's most outstanding leaders. Among many other things, Dan is known today for his outstanding career at Citizens Fidelity Bank, now PNC. But following his graduation from the University of Louisville, that career path was hardly carved in stone.
First of all, I had a commitment to go in the Navy and the Marine Corps, which I did, and I really didn't think too much about a career until I came back. And when I came back, then I started looking for a job, frankly, and landed in the financial business almost by happenstance.
It may have been happenstance, but as things turned out, there could hardly have been a better match of a man with a career.
I had good mentors. I advanced gradually through the system. I just enjoyed banking a great deal.
Mr. Ulmer obviously not only enjoyed banking in general, but banking at Citizens Fidelity and PNC in particular. In a demonstration of loyalty and longevity that's rarely seen today, after joining the company in 1957, he remained there throughout his entire career, retiring as president and chairman in 1993.
People tended to stay in one place in those days. That doesn't happen anymore. There are advantages and disadvantages to both paths, but for me it was easy to stay in one place. I enjoyed the people and I did well, and it was a very rewarding kind of work for me.
There are a lot of people who have achieved success and they go elsewhere. You know, wherever they go elsewhere. Dan's success has been magnified by what he's done in this community.
If his banking career had been his only accomplishment, it would have been impressive. But for Dan Ulmer, that's just the beginning of the story. In the early 80s, a handful of visionaries had the dream of returning professional baseball to Louisville. Mr. Ulmer was one of them, and their persistence and commitment bore fruit in the form of the Louisville Redbirds.
We had a void of entertainment in the summertime. We had no professional teams in the community, or in the Commonwealth for that matter. And it just seemed reasonable that if we were successful in a great baseball city once, we could do that again. So we set out with that germ of an idea to acquire a franchise for our community. And of course, as they say, the rest is history, but that's where it all started.
And once it started, there was no stopping it. After setting new minor league attendance records in their very first season, 1 year later in 1983, the Redbirds stunned the baseball world by attracting a then unheard of million fans to Cardinal Stadium. It was a special time that helped launch this city on a whole new wave of possibility.
If you weren't there, you can't appreciate how much, what a morale booster it was, what a great community togetherness sort of thing it became. It was about the time the university had won the first national championship, and the whole spirit of the community rose, and part of the reason was the success of the Redbirds.
Later in the 90s, the Redbirds made way for the Louisville Bats. And in 2000, with Mr. Ulmer still at the helm as one of the team's primary owners, those Bats helped kick off the transformation of Louisville's downtown with their move into the brand new Louisville Slugger Field on East Main Street.
As a matter of fact, I was very nervous about coming downtown after so many years at the fairgrounds, but it turned out to be the very best thing we could have ever done, and more importantly, it spurred all this economic growth around the waterfront, and it's a real showcase, and I think the community is justifiably very proud, whether you're a baseball fan or not. Just having this facility down here in the middle of downtown has just been a wonderful thing.
And Dan Ulmer's wonderful contributions to the city continue today. As chairman of the building committee for the Louisville Arena Authority, his positive vision has once again helped reimagine the potential of our center city.
There were numbers of people in our community who said the arena not only won't happen, can't happen, and shouldn't happen. But I think Dan and a few of his associates got behind it. You know, they were able to really use creative financing. And today, as you go down River Road or Main Street or whatever, it's real. The arena is real.
It could take hours to list all of Dan Ulmer's honors and achievements, but taken as a whole, they all add up to a one-word definition of who he is.
Dan Ulmer is very much a visionary, and that's why you see him involved with major activity in our community, whether it be the airport, the Kentucky Fair Board, the the two major universities in this state, or the Louisville baseball team, and now the arena. He's always on the cutting edge of what's going on in our community.
I think if I were going to do a Final Four list of people who have impacted our community, individuals impacted our community over the last 10 or 15 or 20 years, Dan Ulmer would be absolutely included in that group. He's a man of integrity, and I would think that any young person that was interested in a career of any kind, whether it's a medical career, a financial career, or a development career, or whatever it might be, if they could spend time with Dan, they'd come away a better person.
In Dan Ulmer's case, personal achievement has never come at the cost of the public good. For more than half a century, his efforts have made this a much better place for all of us. And if we're lucky, his vision and drive will continue to lead us for many years to come.
I don't think Dan Ulmer will ever retire. I think he enjoys every day of his life. He enjoys what he does for the community. He enjoys what he does with his family and in his businesses. So I don't think he'll ever retire, and I hope that he doesn't.